So we're finally here, performing for you. If you know the words, shut up, you don't. Welcome to this one-off Donkey Kong Bonanza spoiler cast. I'm one of the hosts who wanted to do this so badly, Buster, and with me is my Kong-in-law.
The Diddy to your DK.
Okay. Or Pauline to
Yeah, I guess
whatever.
Pauline in this
one,
game.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's Wyatt, everybody.
We're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're talking about it. We're doing Donkey Kong Bonanza.
Just yapping about it. I wanted to write a video about it, but like I need to just yap. Like I just can't put my thoughts into this game unscripted words.
Like
I just want to like talk about random aspects with my buddy, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to talk with somebody who has played a ton of the game, really, because the person that I was talking about for a bit, Toby Jones, he's been all busy doing some movie thing, so yeah. I haven't had a chance to. He hasn't had a chance to play through the game, so I don't want to spoil him.
I mean, like, I was like, to just like briefly make this about AJ Goes to the Dog Park. Sure. I did go see that movie in Chicago. Wonderful movie, by the way.
Yeah,
and during the Q&A section, he was talking about like, yeah, I've been like in between like all the movie stuff. We've been playing Donkey Kong Bonanza. It's been great. So yeah. He is enjoying it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mentioned that. I mentioned to him that you had showed up, but you didn't get a chance to like harass him about Donkey Kong for me.
Yeah, I was kind of like, if I could have answered the question, I would be like, oh, by the way, Wyatt needs you to finish Bananza like soon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It was the show in Chicago, right? That's
the Chicago show, the Music Box. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But anyway, this is not about that. But okay, so I want to ask before we get into the game and everything. What was your first impression of Bananza when you first saw it at the end of like the Switch 2 Direct?
All right. Well, we heard rumors about a 3D Donkey Kong done by the Nintendo Odyssey team. I know there's R&D 2 or whatever.
EPD Tokyo is the name.
EPD Tokyo, yeah. Well, EPD Tokyo. We heard about rumors like years ago, actually. I remember reading about it in like 2020 where it's like, oh yeah, there's a new Donkey Kong on the way, but it's not by Retro. It's in-house by Nintendo. And I don't know how that got leaked. I mean, it's been apparently been prototyping since at least 2017. So I guess like someone just found someone like prototyping it, but it's like that's kind of crazy.
As far as I remember, there was another different DK 3D game. Like, do you know? Like,
I heard about a third party.
Gaming?
Third party like Activision.
Vicarious, Vicarious Visions was doing it. I think that was before the Switch. So I think it was like 2015 or 2016 or whatever when they were working on it. Probably.
That could have been interesting, but I think everything worked out except for Vicarious Visions because they got into the Call of Duty mods.
Yep.
But on the Nintendo side, I think everything works out.
Yeah, but how'd you seeing that trailer?
Yeah, I was like, I was very happy. This is like, I already was gonna buy a Switch 2 because I've been saving for a while, but really that was the first game in that like for the Switch 2 that really like be like, oh, I gotta get this console right like at launch.
I agree.
Because
I do like Mario Kart.
I'm not a big Mario Kart guy, but it's like I enjoy playing it, so it's like that was a fine one. But it's like then it got all these third party games of games I've already played, like Street Fighter and like Elden Ring. Is like I'm either into these games or I'm not. So it's like the Switch 2 port doesn't really get to convince me. And then it's like, but so I was like a bit like I was kind of feeling like, man, there's not really a game for me. And then DK comes in. With like, I know some people were nervous about like, oh, where's all the country elements? We'll get to it. But I was actually personally happy because my favorite Donkey Kong game is Jungle Beat. So, like it's Jungle Beat, Tropical Freeze, and then like I need to think about the other games, but those are like my two goats: Tropical Freeze and Jungle Beat. Nice. So I was really happy to see like, oh, DK's in a new area with like all these new wacky characters who look like they come out of like the Rareware era. Like with like their like googly eyes and rocks and like the funny monkeys, and it's just like whoa. Right. And he's like, it's like what's he doing in this like new underground world? He's like mining, and it's like that. First, I was already sold on the first reveal. I was a bit
Mhm.
deflated that it wasn't coming out a month after the Switch 2 because like I want to play this game as soon as the Switch 2 comes out. Like this is like what
Yeah.
the Switch 2 is being sold on for me.
Mhm.
And then the direct happened, and I was like, how would you make the game look even better? Oh my god!
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I felt
Like,
very similar. I actually did record my reaction to the Switch 2 Direct, like I do for a lot of directs, but I didn't upload it because, well, one, because the audio got messed up, but two, there just wasn't that many like huge pop off, really
yeah.
exciting things. Even like seeing Metroid Prime 4, like, oh, it's Switch 2 edition. I was just like, like, oh, okay, sure.
It
Like I
wasn't
had
really
kind
a
of already.
trailer. It was just like, and now the game will run at 4K 60
Yeah,
FPS.
exactly. It was just like whatever demonstrating. It wasn't like the most, pop off worthy thing. Pokemon actually seeing that run at 60 FPS, because this was way before we learned that like Scarlet and Violet would get its update.
Yeah.
Just seeing a new Pokemon game like run well with good resolution, I was like, whoa, holy
Mm-hmm.
crap, this is like,
We're
and
in the
that game's,
future.
yeah, we're in the. I'm not gonna say Legends ZA is like the most gorgeous video game ever made or anything, but the setting and
Yeah.
like, yeah, the attention to detail and the art style, um, do kind of make it so that it, with its upgrade for the Switch 2, looks quite a bit better than Scarlet and Violet, which already looks really good as an upgrade. But the overall bones of that game are kind of
Jank.
a little janky, so
Yeah.
it's kind of hard to like
Yeah, I
polish
like
it.
I always maintain like Pokemon always has good art direction. It's just like
Mhm.
like it's kind of like because of how
Like the
fast and
hardware,
slapdash
yeah.
these games are made. It's like the bones are so fragile.
But
Like,
Donkey Kong, as soon as I saw it, I was like, and this is joking hyperbole, but I said in the recording, I was like, is this the best game ever made? Like, as I was watching the first one, because everything about it just appealed to me. It's this like big colorful platformer, the sandbox elements, a lot of exploration, a lot of like action, destruction, really satisfying, like
yeah,
movement and everything like that. It's DK, you're playing as like a gorilla. It's like something fresh and new from like like a character that's kind of been stuck in a bit of a rut.
yeah.
Similar to like Mario was in before
Returns
the Switch
was
era.
fine, like, but
Hmm.
it's like people like a lot of the new elements just didn't really work out in that game. Tropical Freeze, like,
Really good.
also kind of has some similar, like, kind of like, it could have like, it's not the most like the new enemies were kind of like whatever. Like, I like the Seal guys, but it's like not all of them are winners. But like, it's
Right.
made up for a lot with its level design and like graphics.
Music.
And yeah, it's just but so it's like this is like, oh, this is the kick in the pants DK needed. Well, quite literally because he has
Yeah.
pants now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so I just felt I was like, oh, okay, now I'm very excited. And then about 5 minutes after that, there was all the stuff where it's like, anyway, the Switch 2 is $450 and
So
DK
that kind of
Bananza
got
is
swept under the
$70
rug.
and Mario Kart is $80, all that stuff. Obviously, you've been on the internet, people listening to this for the past 3 months, so all of that drama. I'll recap some of my feelings about the Switch 2, because I did a podcast on my own Patreon talking about it, so I don't want to like bog this episode down really with it. But and now that I've got like a month under my belt rather than like 3 or 4 days, I can say like I have played the ever loving crap out of the Switch 2. It's pretty much the only video game system I've played, besides like a little bit on my DS and a little bit on the Wii, over the past like 2 months now,
Yeah.
since it came out. So it is, I think as far as like a system to play games and to have fun playing those games on, I'm totally, getting my money's worth.
Yeah,
I've played.
I haven't really given my thoughts on the Switch 2 on any YouTube. I mean, I kind of have, but it's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm,
it's kind of been buried under other news and like modular
mm-hmm,
components and stuff. But I also, of course, I have the Switch 2 because I had played Donkey Kong, and
mm-hmm,
I really like this thing.
mm-hmm.
I'd say it's worth the 450 for like just the power alone. Like, it's I think this will last a lot longer than the Switch one. I hope it lasts a lot longer because I think there's a lot of like, especially because DK was meant to be a Switch one game, so there's still a lot of things that we don't know what this thing can do, like to reach its full potential.
Yeah, all three of the starting games for the Switch, only one of them was announced for Switch before it was announced for Switch 2, being Metroid Prime 4.
Yeah.
Whereas like these other two, we then learned after the fact, like, oh, these were originally Switch 1 games that were modified. But it's also like, oh, the art direction's so strong, the improved resolution and everything and performance are just so good that it's like, who even cares if they don't have the dense polygon count of, Spider-Man 2 or something.
Yeah, it's like, and sometimes I think Nintendo works with like smaller polygon counts anyway because they have just really strong like art direction and level design chops, as we're about to get into.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that's where I stand with the Switch 2, where it's like I've had a blast playing through it, or playing it and playing a ton
I
of
also love
old
the
games on
snapping.
it.
I think the snapping is way better than I know that the because my Joy-Cons actually broke recently, like before the Switch 2 came out, my Joy-Con ones. So I was like, oh man, I hope the Switch 2 is much better built. And yeah, I can confirm it's much better built.
Yeah, so like just feels sturdier. I've played a lot in handheld mode too, because I played a lot of like on the NSO. Like I played through Mother, I played through Earthbound. I'm not done with Earthbound. I actually do need to go back and finish it. I played through all the Kirby games that are currently available on NSO. And I've done that mostly while I was at work and I was using handheld mode or
I also
using the
appreciate tabletop mode because like I always liked tabletop mode on Switch 1, but the stand was so bad. But here the stand is amazing. So it's like, I can actually tabletop like like I can just be like.
It's very interesting because just today at the time of recording this, there was an Arlo video talking about the screen ghosting thing.
Yeah.
And I played probably like close to 100 hours of the game for the system on like out of the dock, like in handheld or tabletop mode. And I've never really encountered this as an issue. Like I'm not saying he's lying or the Digital Foundry is lying, but it's just never like I've never noticed that ghosting effect, and it's never like given me motion sickness or anything. And I've played a lot of Mario Kart and Donkey Kong in handheld mode, so it's not.
I mostly play on handheld mode. Like I barely use docked on my Switch, so it's like
so like the screen to me, like it looks great. It's a huge. I've never got the OLED Switch, so I went from launch model Switch to Switch 2, so it's like a huge improvement for me in that way. The battery life has never really been an issue so far, even playing like DK and Mario Kart, like 2.5 hours, something like that. I've never like
I think I have a Steam Deck and I think that has like worse battery life, honestly.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm just like very satisfied with my purchase. There are a lot of things I have problems with on a business side, like the game key card stuff, like $80 games, so obviously I'm not this isn't me caping for the company of Nintendo. I'm just talking about the product itself and saying like I really enjoyed this, and I'm kind of glad to an extent that we didn't get DK at launch, because Mario Kart is a more like laid back sort of in-betweener game that you can play when you're like, oh, I don't want to do this thing anymore. I'm kind of like burnt out on playing this game. I kind of just want to relax and do like a knockout tour, do the open world like free roam. So for the first month I was doing that. So it gave me a lot of opportunity to play a lot of these old games. Like I played through Link's Awakening, I played through Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Violet.
I wish I had more time to play through older games. I did like Pokemon Violet was basically new to me because it's been years since I haven't played it since launch, and like the performance boost. I kind of wish I just took that time to play older games, but I was so hyper fixated on DK, and I'm like, I want to wait till DK. I'm like, I played the Country 1, I played Donkey Kong Country 1 and half of Country 2, so it's like I still got some like older game in there. I don't know, I also just kind of felt guilty being like, man, I bought this new system and all I'm playing are old ass games, so it's like
and I totally get people feeling that way. for me, that's never really been an issue because like I like to replay games,
Yeah, and also
but
there's just like so
sometimes
many games I haven't played that I have that I'm just like I should really get
yeah,
around to these. So it's like I should really kill
and I
that guilt in
think
my brain.
yeah, and I think that the Switch 2 offered a really good excuse to replay games that I had already played rather than playing new, like going to the backlog or whatever.
Yeah.
Because
Also, if
like
anyone hears lots of rain pouring, it is raining really heavily in my
right,
area. So
cool ASMR sound effects. And for what
I
it's
think
worth, I do
Discord
not
should
hear it through
filter it out, but
Discord.
we'll see. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Uh, but yeah, I just wanted to do that as like the preamble to say that like the gap between launch and Donkey Kong gave me a lot of time to explore the backwards compatibility stuff and a lot of that, even like playing some of the new NSO stuff like Wind Waker.
Yeah, I played a bit of
And
Soul
so by the
Calibur.
time that Donkey Kong was on the horizon, I was like ravenous for something new, so it like really built up that hype. And now for the past 2 weeks, it's basically the only thing I've been playing on the Switch 2. So
Yeah. So let's talk about this DK game. This the first brand new Donkey Kong in over 11 years.
mm,
Donkey Kong Bonanza, technically a Switch 2 launch title. If we're calling Pikmin a GameCube launch title, I think this
mhm.
counts as a Switch 2 launch title.
Yeah, it's like launch window, is what people
Yeah,
like to say.
yeah, freaks.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. I just feel like, oh, let's change. Let's make an even more complicated term for launch title, launch window.
Yeah.
I don't, whatever.
Mhm.
I'm just being pedantic. You can just do whatever you want. All right, Donkey Kong Bonanza. I love this game. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if it's a game of the year contender for me because it's like, I mean, granted, it's in my top 3 of games I played this year that have come out this year. There's been so many good games this year
Mm.
that I've played, like Expedition 33, 100 Line, Last Defense Academy, even freaking Super Mario Mon. So it's
Right,
like
yeah.
there's so many great games, but Bonanza is definitely like high tier on like, oh my god, this is like one of the best games the Nintendo's been putting
Mhm.
out. Like, and it feels like I haven't played Forgotten Land yet, so it's been a while since I've played like a 3D Nintendo platformer. So like
Mhm.
I think what was the last 3D platform? I skipped. I mean, if you count, like I know some people are comparing this to Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I think those people are crazy. I do not see any
Uh-huh.
like besides like open world
I can see
like
some.
aspect.
I can talk about like some of the similarities between
Yeah,
them,
and
but I
also I
don't think
haven't
that
played
they
Tears of the Kingdom as much as I
sure.
wanted to, so it's like
I don't think it's like enough of a comparison to be like, whoa, these are like the exact same game. But there's definitely elements of those Zelda games in there, like climbing on stuff and like
mm,
their shrines, similar to the shrines, which I know are in Mario Odyssey, but they're a lot more contextualized as like very specific, like, oh, these are like the challenge rooms, like the ruins areas. Whereas like in Odyssey, it would
yeah,
just be like sometimes if you go into a pipe or you go through a door, like it would be diegetic to that area. Whereas in Bonanza,
yeah.
it's like there's a triangle door here, it looks the same in every layer. That's why it reminds me of the shrines from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. But yeah, I think I agree with you. I have not played Expedition 33. I really do want to, and same thing with like 100 Line. I have not played those yet, but I did
Uh,
play. I would say my current number one game of the year is Deltarune.
oh yeah,
Um,
Deltarune. I forgot. I just that's like still like on its way to being
yeah,
completed. So I keep forgetting it's a game of the year contender by
right.
technicality.
I think it's like I did for chapter two. And it was a little bit of a fudgy kind of like, yeah, it's that's why it didn't win game of the year for me in 2021 because it was just one chapter. Whereas, and then Dread came out that year as well. So
Mm,
that got that point. But for me, now that it's sort of a more complete game and it does have like it obviously is incompleted, the story is not complete, but the experience of chapters 1 through 4 comes to a very huge conclusion by the end of chapter 4, not spoiling. So it feels like the fact that it's like, oh, this is the first half of the game it's for sale, whatever. Like, I feel like it's fair to
Yeah.
now consider it a contender, and if that's the case, gonna be very hard for anything to top it for me. Hoping Metroid Prime 4 does, obviously, but
Yeah, it's
who
crappy
knows?
year for games, honestly. Like, but
Yeah,
let's get
really.
back to Donkey Kong.
Yeah, but Donkey
Uh,
Kong is one of the most joyous video games I've played in a long time. It's probably the most fun I've had with video games in general since 2023, where like Tears of the
we got
Kingdom came out,
Pikmin,
Pikmin
Mario
4 came
Wonder.
out, Mario Wonder came out. Like all three of those came out like within months of each other. It's just like
Yeah,
I felt spoiled. They're all just so
yeah.
fun and
So many
so
games in 2023. Yeah.
mhm,
But yeah, I guess like the premise of this game is Donkey Kong. You know, he wants to go to he goes to this mine mainly for bananas and gold. And then he gets swept up in this big plot by these three evil Kongs: Void
mhm,
Kong, Poppy Kong, and Grumpy Kong. And like
mhm,
basically they want to like get the Banandium root. Along the way, Donkey Kong meets a young Pauline.
mhm.
So
Who was trapped
that
in a
that
rock at first.
yeah, that's what they hit it with the initial trailers. Like it's odd rock.
Mhm,
And with the power of music, Donkey Kong goes Bananza with like all these like new transformations, and a
mhm.
bunch of stuff happens from there. We'll get more into it, but it's like yeah, it's a simple but solid, I'd say solid story where it's like especially like the extra flavor of Pauline being nervous at first of like singing, and then she gets more
Yeah.
confident as you get new Bonanza transformations.
Yeah, which
Like
is very representative of the game itself actually having a pretty good attention to detail as far as storytelling, which is kind of surprising for a Tokyo EPD game. Not to say that they haven't done interesting stories with Mario before. Like Odyssey, I felt actually had like a pretty good, consistent narrative as far as like, oh, every time you go to a kingdom, Bowser has stolen this thing from that kingdom. You like really feel the effects of what's happened. You're fighting with the brutals, whatever. Even Sunshine, I'm one of those freaks that thinks all those cutscenes are awesome. And the voice
sometimes
cutscenes in
that's funny
Sunshine,
cutscene.
yeah. but but this is the first time it felt like such a huge leap forward as far as like that kind of storytelling from Odyssey, but without getting too bogged down in like
Yeah, it's still like quick paced, like oh, you're still
yeah.
like playing the game, but it's like there's just flavor text in between, like with all these NPCs of like
Hmm.
monkeys and all these animals and
Yeah.
like
And
the
and the
odd
cutscenes are
rocks.
just so good. They are
Yeah,
just so like well animated and like well acted because you have all these like amazing Japanese VAs. And I did play the game in Japanese, but I'm fairly certain that even if you played in English, like Void
everyone
Kong and
except Pauline speaks in gibberish in English.
but they're a Japanese actor speaking in
Oh
gibberish is
yeah.
what I mean.
Oh
Like
okay.
which I'm able to immediately tell just because they have a very clear Japanese accent because I watch a lot of Japanese children's shows.
Yeah.
We
Wait,
have
let
a
me actually
podcast
look up
about
the
it.
let me look up the
But
cast for this
yeah,
game.
because like I saw in the credits that there was no English voice actors for those characters.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so like yeah, I played it in Japanese because I felt like it would be really weird personally for me to play a game where like there's one character who's speaking in English and voiced by like an English voice actor, and then literally everybody around them is Japanese, even if they're not actually speaking Japanese. And in general, I just like to play games and watch things in their original language. So I went with
Understandable. Yeah.
yeah, I went with Japanese. Same thing with Xenoblade. I don't care how many times people tell me that the British voice acting is good. Fine, but don't. I just play it in Japanese. It
I
doesn't
just
bother
like
me.
whatever. Like I'm one of those people who's too lazy. It's like the default language is what I'm sticking with,
Mm,
unless there's like a major problem. Like unless
mm,
it's like the freaking like a different plot thing and that I don't like
yeah,
happens in one of them. I just like
for
I usually just stick with the default language.
for
But
like
like
Square games, I tend to keep it in English. Like Final Fantasy
yeah.
VII remake series, I kept it in English, which I thought was really
Atlas
good.
has some good English dubs, like Atlas games,
And
like Persona and Metaphor.
in Kingdom
Uh,
Hearts, you can't change it to Japanese, so
oh wait,
you
you
know.
can't?
No, I don't think so. I've looked into the menus and stuff, and I
Oh
haven't
yeah, that makes
seen.
sense. I know there's like Japanese voice options, but I guess they I
Yeah,
think that might be a Disney thing where it's like you gotta listen to the original actors.
right. Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, I thought like Pauline's little arc was great. The Donkey Kong was very funny as he
yeah.
should be.
I think if I had one, this is kind of a nitpick. Speaking of, because there is some, there's an interesting element to this game at a meta level, which is similar, related to what I was just talking about. This is a game series that has been ping ponged between different cultures. Like it was created by a Japanese studio,
Uh
was
huh.
given to a British studio, then it was given to a Texas studio, and now it's given back to a Japanese studio. So there's a lot of cultural DNA shared between, like as it's ping ponging back and forth. So there's an interesting thing where it's like, is it a chicken and the egg situation where in a lot of especially kids media, again, that's my bread and butter for Japanese stuff, they'll sort of like broadly describe a character as like, oh, this character, he loves to eat or he loves this one thing, and then they sort of like really, like, for comedic effect, they really dig into that one character trait and really play it up.
Uh
um
huh.
so the banana thing with Donkey Kong, like him, like he loves bananas. There's nothing he loves more in this fucking world than bananas. And like, there's part of me that's like, is this just Tokyo EPD doing like that kind of, like children's show writing style thing, like that you would see in like a Sentai or a Precure or something like that? Or is it just a coincidence because Rare already made it so that he was like, oh, the only thing that he cares about is bananas. He's got the banana horde,
Well,
etc.
look, even I think at the end of the game they play with it in a very there's like a little they don't really like outright say it, but like a certain character that shows up so like
Mm-hmm.
does a thing with bananas that's like
Yeah,
like
I'm not
they're
saying
kind of
this is a
weaponizing
problem,
it.
by the way. I'm just pointing out that I thought it was like, it's like interesting because to me, especially like hearing Pauline in Japanese talking about, like, oh,
Yeah.
you just like, or you only like bananas. It was like, it's like Pan in GT talking about how Goku likes to eat too much or whatever. Like, it just gave me that vibe.
Yeah,
And I was like,
understandable.
and I think I'm pointing it out not to be like, this sucks or whatever, be like, it works shockingly well. Like, despite the fact that this series has been spread out across all these places on Earth and handled by these different studios, we've somehow gotten to the point where it feels completely natural that like everything that this game does and says about DK and its world and interprets it, even though it's like 2 degrees removed from the Rare games, and like that British sense of humor and everything, it's still somehow completely compatible with that. So it's just like a very interesting how coherent it is. So that's what I'm trying to say. Not trying to like throw
Yeah.
shade at the writing of this monkey game.
I mean, I'll admit there's some good writing in this monkey game, but
Yeah.
it's still like a very much. I think like the best way I can put it, it felt like I was playing like a nice animated film, like at
Hmm.
times, like just like a
I
nice
think that that's a
animated.
good way to put
Like
it. Yeah,
I
because
know that's kind of been like a tacky description for a lot of like cartoony platformer games. Like I know that was thrown around when the Ratchet and Clank games came to PS3.
yeah,
It's like I'm playing an animated film, but it's like
it's
this.
like a Pixar. You're playing a Pixar movie. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a lot of that. I would say
well,
with I remember in 2021 when both Psychonauts 2 and Rift Apart came out, the Ratchet
yeah,
and Clank game. I had a similar feeling, but it was more like, oh, it's like I'm watching like a 10 episode Netflix season of a new show,
yeah,
like because the scope was just so much bigger than what you would expect from like a single movie or something like that. So the writing, like it was episodic in a way where it felt like, oh, this is the end of this episode and then it leads into this one or whatever. Whereas like, yeah, I agree with you that this feels more like just a continuous adventure, even though it is separated into the layers and everything. And it definitely has like a little bit of that Disney energy into
yeah.
it. Pauline, she's a young girl. She loves to sing. She's
Yeah.
getting into trouble. She has like important magical powers that
I will
the
say this
villains
will
are trying to
probably be a
exploit.
better Donkey Kong movie than whatever the actual Donkey Kong movie is gonna
That
be.
is true. I mean, that's the thing is that uh a Mario movie could be really good if they did just adapt one of the stories from Mario that is really well written or really well
Yeah.
constructed, like Paper Mario or Thousand Year Door or something like that. But they're not doing that. They're just going to do,
The basics, yeah, are just
yeah,
basic.
just
Yeah.
kind of like, oh, let's do a normal kind of road
And even
trip
then, I'm just kind of like
kids
I'm kind of
movie.
over video games being adapted into like other just let them be video games, like just like maybe a
Yeah, I
toy here and
never
there,
got,
but
I
just
just
like
don't get the obsession that people have with like needing to be validated through like
movie
adaptations.
adaptations. Yeah,
If you are excited for the Zelda movie, that's fine. I'm not gonna like poo poo on your parade. But the people that are like, we need a Metroid movie next, it's like just play Super Metroid. Just play the game. Just don't even like
yeah.
what could you possibly gain as a fan from a
I think you
Metroid
have everything to
movie?
lose if you make it a
Yeah.
Metroid movie.
Like, I don't know. It's not going to be exactly what I want, which would be like a Keita Memiya movie directed in like the late 80s,
Yeah.
with like that little
Like
like.
unless like they lock in, which they're not gonna, but like
Hmm.
it's like you're not gonna get like I don't know, whatever. It's a whole thing. I mean, like I like the Sonic movies, but it's like
Sure.
they're not the end all be all for me. Anyway, it's just this little movie tangent out. I mean, granted, Donkey Kong is now voiced by his Japanese movie actor.
Which is cool.
Yeah. He does a good job with like all the grunts and the ooh,
Mm,
like funny monkey
yeah.
noises. Um,
Even
I
something
guess we
like
could talk a bit about the gameplay because we talked a little about like
yeah.
the premise and like our thoughts on the general story before we get into the big thing.
Right,
So
yeah, like I was gonna say, like with the gameplay, even like something as subtle as when you're using and we're gonna be talking about spoilers here, so don't. If you don't want spoilers, you can click
there's
off
actually
now. We
some things
already,
to like. There's some secrets in this game
yeah.
that you probably don't
Uh,
want to know.
so I'm about to get into it right now. The elephant bonanza, when it's sucking up, you can tell that the vacuum sound is not like a generic sound effect. It's the voice actor going, ooh, like
That's I
making the
didn't even
noise.
notice that. That's amazing.
So like I just love that. He just has such a distinct voice.
Yeah.
That it like comes through even though he's just like making ape noises. And then like I said, the other characters are doing gibberish. But it's like Luigi's Mansion 3 where like what the hell's his name? The professor
Yeah,
like
Egad.
yeah, Egad, whenever he's talking, he's still speaking in the same like gibberish as the original game, but they animate his mouth movements perfectly to match the gibberish. I'm like, wow, why did they put this detail into that? And then it feels like that same level of detail and animation is in Beaten Bonanza, and it just like really brings the characters in the world and everything to life, like like Voidco and everything. But yeah, we can get into the gameplay more granularly.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad like I as someone who really likes Jungle Beat, I'm glad a lot of the game revolves around Donkey Kong's fists and like just
Mm,
punching things. And not just punching like enemies cuz like or just like objects. It's like you're punching like the terrain itself
mhm,
to like
mhm.
make the I really appreciate like love the whole like digging and ground like elements where
Yeah.
just you're picking up things to surf on them or throw them, and it's just
Mm,
ads, and then they make it feel so good. Like everything
mhm.
just like it's been polished to like this like it feels so nice.
Yeah, they take the one part of Minecraft which I think is cool as hell, the mine, and they
Yeah.
get rid of the part that I don't care about, the craft. And it's just they go so hard on the mine. There is some element of like building with materials that you have, but it's not an integral part of the game, really.
Yeah.
Uh, you can just like, oh, if you throw soft materials at a hard surface, then it will stick to that surface.
Yeah,
But
and
if
I
you,
do appreciate how like it's not just one terrain. There's so much different terrain that like functions in
mm,
different ways. It's like some will hurt you, some will like slip off you, some but you gotta like and then
yeah,
you gotta use like other terrain to like they actually like it's a pretty challenging game, especially towards the end, which I'm grateful
mm,
for because it's like we haven't really got like I mean Pikmin's kind of challenging, but like a Nintendo platformer besides like post game content that's
Yeah.
challenging. And I do feel like Donkey Kong is one of the more challenging characters. Like if you play a Donkey Kong game, you're gonna get challenged more than if you play a
Oh
Mario
yeah,
game.
especially like the 2D game. Like I haven't played Jungle Beat, but like the three rare games and then the
Yeah.
two retro games are like ridiculously hard at certain points, especially like you know, Tropical Freeze. I remember like playing that as a kid. I was 19 when it came out. But I remember being like getting to the end. I was like, my God, this is so hard. Like even just normal stages, not even the like the secret super hard areas. Uh, it was just like very difficult. So I do feel like this game has a very nice, comfy difficulty curve where it
Yeah.
starts a lot more relaxing and very easy. Bosses are very simple. You know, collecting and progressing is relatively simple. Like it's pretty easy to get a lot of the stuff in the lagoon lair on your first try, but then it just slowly starts to ramp up, and by the time that you get to the two layers, the forest and the freezer layer, that's really like the first big difficulty bump and complexity bump as far as like exploring and bosses and everything. And that's also when you
Mhm.
get the two other Bonanza forms besides the Kong Bonanza, which is the first one that you get.
Yeah.
What do you
And
think?
as for like all the Bonanzas, Ostrich is the best one. But it has the best song,
You
and
think
I
so?
just think it
Yeah.
has the best utility.
I would
Uh,
I'd say Zebra probably has my favorite song, but I hate using it. So it's just like really the freezer layer is one of my least favorites. Um, Aesthetically, I think it's really cool, but it's also because it's a snowy, blurry area. It's kind of hard to find all the bananas. Like it took me like 2 days of playing the game, you know, on and off in the post game to like get all of the gems there. And then I would say like my absolute favorite is the elephant one, just because it's such a beast of like destroying terrain. You just feel like so powerful, just like sucking up everything, like destroying everything in your wake. And elephants are just cool as hell.
yeah.
Uh, so and the area that you get it is really cool, and the NPCs there are very adorable. You know these big elephant ladies, and like the raincoats reading books and whatever. Um, But yeah, I think, but I agree with you that ostrich is like the most useful by far. Like it's just like as far as like general use goes, using the ostrich to like get around is just like that's what you do in this game. Once you get the ostrich, it's like okay, well, I could either do this tricky platforming thing with the chunk jump and chunk surf and blah 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 and chain these things together, or I can stand up high and glide
Yeah.
across to get to
Gliding
this
is it's also
area.
just really fun to just I just like flying in games, and I think the flying
Mhm.
controls here are cool and just
Yeah,
well
mm, and it
done.
starts as a little
Snake
bit of
is
a
kind of the
more
one I use the least, I think,
yeah,
but it's
snake kind of
like
sucks.
yeah, like it's kind of
It
it's very situational. It's very situational.
mhm. Yeah, it's if I need to get up high, like I need to high jump, then you know, snake is very useful.
Yeah.
But the time slow mechanic I never really used that much. That layer is really cool though, the Radiance layer. And the NPCs are very cute because they're these little snakes with the like lamp helmets on, you know.
Yeah.
So good stuff. What is your favorite layer actually? I should
That's a bit of a tricky one because there's all the levels except for like I think the lava one is like really good. The lava one's a
Mhm.
bit much sometimes. Sometimes like getting all the elephant bonanza like sucking can be a bit troublesome.
Right. Yeah.
Uh, Luckily I did upgrade those things with the. I also actually let's briefly talk about the banana gems because I know that's kind of a talking point where it's like oh the Odyssey moons problem or
Mhm.
something. I personally didn't have a
Yeah.
problem with Odyssey's moons because I didn't think of them as like the power stars from Mario 64. They were like a
No.
different thing.
Yeah.
Like
The three moons that you would get for certain objectives, like beating
main
a
story
certain
stuff.
yeah, it's like main story stuff like oh you beat this platforming challenge, yeah, as part of the main story, and then you get the three moons. Like that to me was more like a power star. Like and I was playing Odyssey recently, you know, before Bonanza came out, and sort of trying to view it in the sense of like this actually is still structurally pretty close to the more linear Mario games. It's just couched in an open world or in
Yeah.
a sandbox world.
And
And
I think like
Bonanza is
people
kind
are
of
like a bit
similar.
overwhelmed by all the collectibles, but like I feel like we've kind of like put too much emphasis on 100% in games. It just kind of like if
I
you could
agree.
just like on these especially like these day and ages where it's like oh I got to do everything and like sometimes it's just extra stuff if you want to do it if you're enjoying the game, you know,
Yeah,
and just
I'd say do that. Like I really enjoyed it, so I really wanted to go through and do like all the post game stuff and collect all the gems. But I was saying to you before we were recording that like with the fossils, like I'm just like, sometimes I'll get all the fossils in an area, but sometimes it just shrug and kind
yeah.
of move on
If I
because of
get a
like, yeah,
fossil, cool. If I don't, all right. You know.
yeah, like the gems are more so, and they actually offer like a gameplay benefit.
Yeah, with a
Uh,
skill tree, which I'm a bit I because it's like I know some people are like, oh, external reward versus like just like oh the natural level up strength reward. I think it works in this game, especially because you know there's still a lot of challenge to be had, and I like even if you don't have all the skills, like there's a segment near the end of the game where it's like you have to pay a bunch of gold to like progress. And I didn't actually have all that gold, but I was still able to progress through like just my own ingenuity and bonanza tricks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
So
in the Forbidden Layer,
yeah, the
where
forbidden layer.
I saw a lot of people that were like, yeah, there's like a paywall or whatever they don't warn you about, and I was like, what the hell are you talking about? And then like I
I just
learned
I
what
just I just
they were
ostrich
talking
bonanza that
about.
shit.
Yeah, exactly. It was just like I just used the ostrich bonanza and got across all that stuff, and like the snake bonanza ostrich combo,
Yeah,
and yeah, so that I didn't really see that as like an issue or anything, or I felt like,
yeah.
you know, people sort of like they can get I understand that the whole point of it is to be like, okay, this is kind of a test of your knowledge. Are you just going to take this on face value and do it, or are you going to see if there's like another way? It's sort of like killing Toriel for the first time,
In
and then
Undertale, yeah.
you're like, oh man, I
It's
did
so
this thing because
easy.
I thought it was the thing I was supposed to do because it was the thing right in front of me. But then I learned that there was a different way that I could have handled this, and then the
Yeah.
game makes fun of you for being like, "You idiot! I know what you did." Um, but but yeah, the
The
gems and like the skill tree thing, I think it works for this game, but I don't think it would work for every game, and
yeah.
I don't necessarily think it would work for Mario, just because Mario is a lot more.
He's a simple guy. Like he has his
Yeah.
moves and you have to use them.
hmm Whereas like DK, there is a bit of a action element to the game, so I think
Yeah.
that makes sense to me. Pikmin 4 did it also,
Well,
so I
like there's
think
a
that.
lot you could do with Pikmin, and they've been like slowly trickling upgrades throughout those games. So
Mhm.
like with like the whistles and stuff.
I'll say, uh, I don't think it's necessary for Prime 4. I would be, I guess, curious if they did do it for Prime 4, but I think that Metroid is better off
Yeah, I mean, like it's
sticking
the
to.
Metroidvania is like you get the upgrades through exploration, and I think there is a
Yes.
way to balance that. But the way people are pitching like a skill tree for Metroid, where it's like, oh, you kill an enemy, you
Yeah.
gain a point. That's no, no, no.
Exactly. They want to turn it into Dark Souls, which is fine for those games, but Metroid is not an RPG. The fun thing about Metroid, in my opinion, if I can go off on this tangent, is that every upgrade is so tangible because it's not just like in a Castlevania game or a Dark Souls game, you get a new weapon and it's a little bit stronger, and that's cool. Whereas, like in Metroid, when you get a beam upgrade, you go from shooting one beam to shooting three beams at the same time, and then it's three times more powerful. Like you
Hmm.
immediately know how much more powerful it is. Whereas, like, what does 15 attack compared to 21 attack really
Yeah,
mean?
and like circling back to DK, like I think that there's a good balance they struck between like okay, you get the collectible, like you get the collectible, you get
Mm,
but you still like get to upgrade yourself and
yeah,
shit. Like I think they struck a good balance of like okay, you still have a reason to collect, but there's still like there's a benefit to having so much of these, and it's like you could
yeah.
overpower yourself if you want, but it's like there's still like a again with how like hard the game can get, there's still like a little like skill barrier. to like
Yeah,
achieve.
I think that they did it very well, and I think that they made a good choice by not making the bananas mandatory for progression. They
Yeah,
are just the thing for progressing the character rather than the story. Which, like the moons, those were progression barriers.
for like
And
story.
there was a
Yeah,
lot of people that felt the idea that as soon as you got the exact amount of moons that you needed to progress to the next area, there is no reason to get any more moons in that area, unless like you're doing the post game. And I never felt that way because I just felt exploring to find things is fun for its own sake.
yeah,
And that I think that's because I'm a Metroid fan and I just like finding, even if you do a thing and you get two missiles, it's like whatever, who cares? I explored, I found something, I found this interesting new part of the game, or this little nook, and now that's like part of my memory banks. And I feel like Donkey Kong is so rewarding in that degree. It's just so unbelievably dense with stuff that it
yeah,
feels like I'll never run out of finding things, because there'll be times where I'm like down to the last like 4 or 5 bananas and I'm like I have like scoured this zone. Where the hell are these things? And then I'll find like a little nook that I didn't look at close enough, and then there's a whole new area or a little cave or something like that
yeah.
that I had never explored, and that just feels so cool to find that.
It really like it's the best mining game since Minecraft.
Yeah.
I'd argue, because I mean, Donkey Kong is like he's wearing the whole miner getup at the beginning, so it's
Mhm.
like yeah. Like if you
Yeah,
love
and
like digging through like every nook and cranny, this game's gonna be great. Especially because it's like the destruction element gives you like extra like layer to your exploration of like
mhm.
looking through all this nook and cranny
Yeah, and it
stuff.
feels it feels like, I'm sorry, I just saw a really funny image on Family Boards. But it feels like it's like an omni game. Like it feels like they took so much stuff from not just Mario and Donkey Kong, but they took stuff from Zelda, they took stuff from Pikmin, they took stuff from
Yeah,
Metroid. Like, oh, you get items like you get the new Bananza transformations. Now you can go back to previous layers and go to places that you couldn't
yeah.
before. You know, it just feels so they like considered all these options. They didn't try to keep it within this similar boundary of, what we should expect from Donkey Kong.
Yeah, it's like I'm not even sure if they should even do like a Bonanza 2 because it's like I just
Yeah.
want to see like what could else like not even EPD with like the next 3D Mario, but just what could they do with like other characters who like
Hmm.
could fit in this 3D platformer mold that you could just like twist it to like fit them. But like I don't even know if there's any other characters besides Mario or Donkey Kong in this formula could work with. So
Hmm.
it's a whole thing. Um, do we want to talk about the big one? The big thing everyone's been talking about. Actually not
Hmm.
the music. I was gonna try to do a swerve, but
All right.
like
Yeah.
I realized we already
Talking
talked
about the
about the
music.
music. Music good. Lots of good remixes of like older tracks and the new tracks.
Hmm.
Slap. I love Pauline's vocal tracks, both the gibberish
Well,
and the
yep.
end credits song.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. The one element that I about that I love, that I made a joke about on Twitter, is that the Bonanza forms, each having like their own theme that's kind of like a slightly different style, reminds me of O's, Kamen Rider O's.
yeah, where it's like
And
they each of the main metal combos like have their own
yeah,
like jingle.
and they're all like equivalently powerful. They just have like different use cases. So like
Yeah.
it made it feel like changing between them. I felt like form changing as like a Kamen Rider. And it was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is a better Kamen Rider game than like Bat Ride Wars or
Or like
something,
Memory of Heroes.
Yeah. But yeah, I love that. If I had to pick one like theme and like leitmotif that I love and it's just been like stuck in my head forever, it's the Fractone Village theme. When you first encounter it in the Hilltop layer, the like dun 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 dun, that music. You hear it again when you're in the landfill layer, and then you hear it like the final like iteration of it. That's like this very beautiful, serene, chill wave DKC2 style version of it in the Planet Core. and it's just like so it just like took my breath away because I already like I loved it as like a jaunty little ditty, and then like hearing it, reinterpreted that way was just like so beautiful. So that's probably like my
Well, speaking
favorite.
of Diddy, do you want to talk about Diddy Kong? Because he's in the
Yeah,
game as
talking
like
about Diddy, talk about Ditty. Now we talk about Diddy.
yeah.
So, um,
Diddy Kong, like Diddy and Dixie are like you play a fun little mini game with them as the rhino. With you get to race with Ramby. It was a bit
mhm,
jank of a mini game. It kind of felt like I could have used a couple more passes, but for like a one off mini game, it works. So it's like
mhm. It's where I finally. It took me a while to figure out that running on that like rainbow floaty material actually makes you go faster.
yeah,
So, uh, you know, there was that. And
yeah,
yeah, it's kind of like basically just like a weird mini game world that's just like in the middle of all of this.
chaos.
It's
Yeah,
yeah, it's
I
kind
guess
of
speaking
like
of like little cameos, Cranky Kong, like he did, like I think he's in each layer as like a
yeah,
collectible, where it's like if you find them, you get an extra banana. And I love how
like
the music for his rants are called Cranky's rants.
yeah, yeah. And what is it? Cranky is very similar to like Captain Toad or Peach in the post game of Odyssey, where he's just
Yeah,
like hidden in different areas in the layers. You talk to him, he tells you something, um, and
yeah.
then he gives you the banana.
Yeah, which
So
is very funny, like how like Cranky Kong took over for Captain Toad. I don't know why that's just funny for
yeah,
me. It's a funny concept, but just instead of this optimistic adventurer explorers, like I'm on like a global adventure. It's like just this
yeah,
old
yeah,
ass man who's just like
yeah. He's
back
just
in
like
my
angry.
day.
Yeah, and also saying like, "Oh, I'm chasing down this crook," and like the way that he talks is vague enough that you can assume that he's talking about Void Kong. Um,
Yeah.
but obviously, he's by the end of the game, we learn that he's not talking about Void Kong. So, do you want to get into that now?
All right, time for the worst kept secret in the history since Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Right.
This is
All the
legitimately one of the worst.
YouTubers for months were like, "This is a thing. This is gonna be in the game."
Yeah,
Conspiracy theorizing
and I have
about
to eat
it.
shit on this because I thought he wasn't. I legitimately
Me
thought
too.
like
I
he
was like,
wasn't.
"No, you guys. I think these are like fun little Easter eggs or references, whatever
And
the
then I saw the
crocloids and
belly.
everything."
And then I saw the
Yeah.
belly. I was like, oh,
Which
he's here.
I posted a little meme related to that in the modular Discord here.
Wait, I need to look at this shit.
The the Saddam Hussein hiding place, but
Oh my
it's
god, I might have to make that the thumbnail of the video. I don't know, like this is
um,
this is a crazy ass image.
but I'll say okay before we talk about the king. Very quickly, I do want to say I think Void Kong is a great villain. Like I think he's a
Yeah,
very
he's a funny
entertaining
guy.
villain. Yeah, he has like such a good short man energy to him, and his relationship with the other two members of Voidco. I really like their dynamic. I love the fact that after you beat Grumpy and Poppy, they're just like chilling out in the boss arena, being like, "Yep, you beat my ass." And
Yeah.
then they're like, "Oh, I'm not gonna fight you more because I'm off the clock, so I'm not doing
That's
unpaid
great.
overtime."
Well, lots of good
Um,
employee jokes with them.
Yes, and then the fact that they slowly start to become like friendly rivals and then eventually like allies by the end of the game is
Yeah.
like a
I
pretty
hope we see
good.
Grumpy Kong again. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just have a good vibe to him. He's just like, I'm just
Yes.
building machines. So it would kind of be nice to see him like return to like DK Isle and just like help build some
Yeah.
like gadgets or
Like
whatever.
the post game stuff with him is really fun. And the fact that it's like, he's a crotchety bastard, but he's clearly an artist to the core, and he loves what he does. He loves crafting things. He loves like building things and everything. And I think that there's just something like so cool about that, like going through all the layers and seeing like the different carvings that he makes of like Void Kong's face on the scenery, and like all that stuff is just like really cool. It adds so much to the character. And then there's also like the little loading screen things that give like that just have like a 2D drawing of some of the characters doing something that really adds a lot to them. I would describe Void. He's like if Frieza was replaced with Emperor Pilaf.
Yeah,
As far as like
yeah.
because and
He
then
has a lot of
Poppy is
Emperor peel off energy.
yeah, and then like because like people say like, oh, he's like Pilaf, and then the other two are Shu and Mai, but I'm like, no, no, no. The other two are like Zarbon and Dodoria, and
Yeah,
he's in the Frieza position, but he has the personality of Pilaf. So he's a pretty strong guy too. Like
yeah. His
he had
boss
a
battles are pretty
really hard
rough.
like boss battle, like especially in the in the Forbidden Lair.
Yeah, where you
But
can't use the Bananza transformations, which is
I
like I
know,
think that's a pretty interesting handicap to have. Like
yeah,
for like when and then the king comes.
yep.
He's here. King
How
K.
did you?
Rule.
How did you feel about this as somebody who was a doubter like myself?
I was like, all right, let's see how this plays out because I wasn't like opposed to him being in the game. I was just like, I just wasn't sure if he was gonna be in the game.
Right, yeah.
Like I was just
Mhm.
like, really? It's like they got all these new Kongs. It's like that they don't
Yeah,
really
do we
like bring
need
back
him? Hmm.
villains. It's like and if they bring back villains, they usually make it like a big deal in the marketing. So it's like, but I was like,
Yeah,
oh no, he's a
and
third act twist, and
I felt um like there wasn't enough personality to K. Rule for people to be this vehement about him coming
yeah, I
back.
mean, he kind of changes personalities like in the rare games. Like every time, he's like sometimes
Yeah.
he's a scientist, sometimes he's just a pirate. It's like is
Yeah,
there really like
yeah.
any
And
consistency to like
yeah,
K.
it's like
Rule?
people being like, "Oh man, Kraid is back in Dread," and I'm like, well, "Yeah, it's cool. It's a good boss fight, but like, I'm not like, oh my god, it's from Super Metroid, so therefore it's amazing."
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
just
like
like, oh
there's
yeah,
especially in Dread where there's like other cool new bosses like Ravenbeard.
yeah.
It's like
So it's just like I don't know, and like people being like, they need to bring Ridley back in Metroid Prime 4. It's like they don't need to bring him. They
I mean,
probably will bring him back, but they do not need to bring him back, really.
yeah, I mean,
Um,
like we already got Silux back, guys. Like it's
yeah.
been so long.
but but yeah, like so I was on that same thing of like, fine with if just Voidco as the villains. I think that they could be utilized very well, and they were. Like I think that I like the Brutals, but they blow them out of the water in terms of like relevance and like the way that they're used and the everything like that, like their presence in the story, just
Yeah.
so well done. And then but K. Rule showing up
And literally just
really
yeeting
sold
Void
me.
Kong out of the story. He
Yeah.
does not show up. That guy is dead. Like that
Yeah.
guy's not appearing in Mario Kart. That guy is dead.
Yeah, he's dead forever. He's in hell now. And K. Rule just steals the show so efficiently that like even me, as somebody who, like I said, was totally willing to just sort of move on and accept that he wouldn't come back, was like shooting like I was cheering and hooting and hollering and everything. Like he had such a good entrance scene, and then the entire Planet Core level, like as soon
Yeah.
as you fight a Kremling and you beat one and it goes, oh, I was like, this is the greatest video game ever
I've
made.
been okay. I was kind of like I think it's I'm a bit like I think in recent years like nostalgia's kind of been like I don't know, man. It's like I
Yeah,
kind of
I
want some new
agree.
stuff, but it's like I think it works at Bonanza because you got a bunch of new stuff, and then we're kind of like bookending it with remember where you
Mhm.
came from, and then use all your new tech to destroy everything you came from. So it's
Yeah.
like,
And then they I feel like the final leg of it with the takeover of New Donk City
yeah.
and everything involving like K. Rool at that point
Oh,
is
the,
so
the moment beforehand where it's like the fake out credits from like the
yeah,
rare
oh yeah,
games
yeah.
okay, that got a big pop out of me. I
That
was like,
I laughed
eh.
I laughed very hard when the title came up and it was the K. Rool version of the title card, and
Yeah.
then Gangplank Galleon, as soon as it started playing, I was like, I know exactly what the fuck is gonna happen.
Yeah,
Fuck
and
yeah.
then it's
And
like K. Rool
then,
doing the rage, like as
yeah.
like this new remix of Gameplay Gallion plays. I think I still prefer the Smash one, but this one's still
Yes.
a really good cover.
Smash One is super funky. This one's like badass. Like I'm angry. I'm gonna kick your
Yeah,
ass. Like
they
kind of.
each fit the mood. They each fit the mood for
Mhm.
like what they're trying to set.
But
Um,
the like taking it him to like he's just like unhinged. Like he's just like completely. He's not like a Bowser or whatever, where he's like this arrogant but otherwise sort of like there's like a charming quality to Bowser.
Yeah.
There's sort of like an amiability and like he's like a funny guy, whereas like K. Rool is just like no, he is
He
crazy.
just hates DK. He just
Yeah.
hates this guy. He like there's the like when he turns into the king of rot, he literally just does
Yeah.
that because he's like, I know you like bananas, DK. What if I just
That's
rot
like
bananas and eat them all because you like bananas?
I've
That's the
seen
kind of
so many
hater I
people
am.
post the like guy writing with the quill that's on fire.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of those of people being like, I'm rotten, like the monologue that he gives before transforming about how he's rotten to the core. And I'm just like, I've never been this like hyped to fight a guy made of like rotten bananas. Like that's like the only problem I have with the finale is I was seriously expecting it to turn into a kaiju battle.
Yeah, I kind of
Because
like.
yeah.
I know the Donkey Kong 64 reference is cute with like the boxing ring, but it's like you don't
Mm,
really box in there. Just kind of like just an extension
yeah.
of the boss you already had. But it's a kaiju battle would have gone hard. I feel like there was an
Yeah. I
opportunity
feel like they
there.
could have done that. Like, here's the challenging final battle, all your skills to the test. And then do something similar to. I was like, in my mind, I was like, oh my God, is this the reason why there was kaiju battles in Bowser's Fury? Was it like prototyping for this game and like this moment? Then it didn't go that
Yeah.
point. So I was like, damn it.
I mean, I'm kind of I'm kind of grateful. I don't know. Like I was kind of like expecting one last Bananza transformation where it's like this is the final form of Donkey Kong or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's like I kind of think it's like for gameplay wise, I'm glad they didn't just because it's like oh it doesn't invalidate the other transformations
Yeah.
because
It
it's like
feels
you're
more
still using all
rewarding.
of them during the final boss.
Yeah.
I also like the thing that made me pop off is like when you're climbing New Donk City and it does the meters thing from the Donkey Kong arcade game.
Yep.
That made that I haven't seen a lot of people talk about that, but like oh
Yeah.
that tickled my brain. I was like, oh, instead of like Donkey Kong is climbing to save somebody at this time, it's like
Yeah. Yep. The I was gonna say regarding the final boss thing, that's a huge problem I have with the original Metroid Prime. Um, I know everybody take a breath.
all
I'm
right,
criticizing Metroid Prime. But the fight with the Prime itself, you utilize all your weapons and everything and your skills and your loadout that you've gained throughout the game. But then the final phase is kind of boring because it just requires you to wait around until it like puts a pool of phazon down and then you stand in that and then you use a weapon that you can only use during the final boss to hurt it. Like you can't hurt it any other way, so it makes it feel like a little bit of a waste of time. Like, why did I bother gathering all of this crap before this boss? That's like a minor problem with a perfect, flawless masterpiece of a game. But I did have to throw that out there because it's a
yeah.
reoccurring issue I
Like
have with
maybe
games that have
if
like,
I think they could have like had like maybe the kaiju battle could have been like its own little thing where it's like, but it's like I don't know, like
yeah,
I think I like where it ends now, where it's like you could have used like
yeah,
all your
that's a
you
very
used
minor issue that I have.
yeah, that's more of a
Because
potential issue than like an actual issue of the game. It's like oh they could have done that, but it's like
exactly, it doesn't bring the game down in
yeah,
any
because it's like
degree.
it's not a thing that cripples the game. It's more like there's a thing called like armchair potentialing the critique
Hmm.
that's like
Yeah.
yeah it could have
It,
gone that way, but I'm still happy like what we have now, you know.
yeah, I think for the most part they did a lot of moves which I was like, all right, this is the best possible thing you could do. And they also did a lot of things where I was unsure, like K. Rool coming back, and they proved me wrong. Like they were able to like show like, no, 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 this is hype. Just
Yeah,
watch. And then they were able to like execute on that. So I don't know.
yeah.
I just absolutely loved like this finale section of the game. I'm
I
not
have
sure if
no
I'm there
idea if
with
there's gonna be like any like at least for me. I know Prime 4 for you. You know, you've been waiting literal years for that
yeah.
game, but it's like I'm having like a difficult time. It's like how the hell is Pokemon gonna like? Because Pokemon's like kind of like my favorite gaming franchise. I'll be real.
Yeah.
So it's like I have no idea if that's even gonna like even touch DK this year. So
How'd
we'll
you like
see.
Legends Arceus?
Legends Arceus is interesting. I need to think more about it, but like it, but I don't think I think the as someone who likes the battling in Pokemon, I think it's a bit it kind of loses me there, but the actual exploration
Yeah.
is great.
They
And I'm
just
kind of
do they
interested to
kind
see
of
where
move it
ZA
away.
goes.
Yeah, because ZA is even more removed from the
Yeah.
battle system of normal Pokemon. I
But
think
at
that might
least
be
it's
to its
doing
benefit.
things that at least it's doing things with the battle system that like could work instead of just this. I don't like agile and strong style in Legends Arceus. I think that's just it overcomplicates and isn't that well utilized in the game.
Yeah, I
That's a
agree. Like I think that it's cool in a sense, and that does lead to like some pretty challenging battles, but not to throw shade at a fellow creator or anything. But I remember watching the Arlo review
the
of.
second Arlo mention. Take
Oh
a
yeah,
drink.
that's right. That we've been recording for so long. I forgot that I mentioned Arlo already. Uh, but but anyway, he did a review of back when Scarlet and Violet came out. He released a review of Legends Arceus, and he talked about how it's like, yeah, the battle system's so much better than in the normal Pokemon games and blah blah blah. And I was just, and I've never really agreed with him that the battle system was bad in previous Pokemon games. I think because I'm just so RPG pilled as well
Yeah.
as Pokemon pilled that it's just like it never really
Yeah, like I feel like
bothered me.
there's a difference between like Pokemon. Like I can get this whole rant where it's like some people are like
Sure.
Pokemon's not an RPG, but it's like no, it is an RPG. It just you're just
Mm.
being stupid. But that's a whole other
Yeah,
rant for another day.
there is
But
like a really interesting competitive element to Pokemon in the way that you structure a team and like
yeah,
the attacks and
and
everything
I
like
mean we're
on a
getting
Pokemon.
champions now, so to
Yeah.
like to hone in on that market.
So
But
I
I still
feel
think
like
like the
they're
single player
satisfying.
of Pokemon still has like RPG things to balance. That's kind of like been a big issue of the feature creep of those series.
Hmm.
But yeah, Legends EA, I think it has the potential, especially like I don't know, Legends Arceus wasn't like my favorite of the Switch era stuff. I like Sword and
Yeah.
Shield a lot more personally. I
Hmm.
think there's a lot of charm to that game,
I agree.
despite its stumblings. But like Legends EA, it's gonna be an uphill battle because I'm excited for it, but it's also taking like Legends. I was like, I wasn't like the hottest on it, but also like I do not like X and Y, so I'm like, this is.
That's true.
So I'm like, it's fighting an uphill battle with me, like from
Yeah,
its
I mean, I didn't
conception.
like Diamond and Pearl either, so that like Legends
Yeah,
Arceus, like to me, I especially didn't like Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. I thought that
yeah,
those
yeah.
were
Those
like
are just like, what were
pretty
we doing there?
lame remakes because, yeah, I don't know, they just didn't feel. They felt like I was playing the exact same game again.
Yeah,
So
and I maybe that's kind of cool if you like that, but it's like I don't know, it's not whatever.
yeah.
Pokemon,
Yeah,
Donkey
we
Kong.
can get off that. Well, just yeah, just saying we're talking about that because we're talking about like
Yeah, like
the
what could
expectation of
compete with this? Like,
yeah.
there might be a Nintendo Direct soon. I don't know, man. Every time someone says, "Oh, Nintendo Direct might be soon," it's like I don't know, man. I mean, I could be eating shit like I did with K. Rule, and it just comes out the
Right. Yeah.
second after like this. Upload
Yeah.
this.
Apparently it's supposed to be this week, but we will see. Because it's
This
like,
week
oh, it's
being July 27th. In case I forget to upload this.
yes, the end of July. So maybe we've already seen it and yada yada yada. But yeah, so for me, Prime 4, really that's the as far as like Nintendo games go, that's the only thing I can think of that would like top this as an overall experience for me personally. And I have very high hopes for Prime 4, but I've also seen a lot that has shown me that it's in good hands. Like that the people making this get Metroid Prime, and there's a lot of people that I feel like, oh, it's too slow. It's too like it's not like actiony enough. It's not like Doom or whatever. I'm like, that's not at all what I would ever want Metroid to be. I'm sorry. It's just that's just the
It's
truth
an
of it.
like the Metroidvania
Yeah,
exploration.
I like to walk. I like it as a walking simulator. I just like to walk around and look at walls. Like that's prime. And it's the greatest experience of my life when I walk around and look at
Go
walls
explore.
slowly.
Like it's
Yeah.
a Prime excels at
So
exploring. But like we talked a lot about Metroid Prime for this Donkey Kong podcast, but I think
yeah.
that's just what I get
But
for
that's just
bringing
because
you
I'm
on.
here. Yeah. But I mean, hey, we got, over an hour discussion about Donkey Kong and everything and talking about the Switch.
Yeah.
Um
I have
yeah, I
no idea what
think
I'm gonna title this. I think it's just Donkey Kong and Friends, the podcast or some shit.
yeah, this is Donkey Kong Bonanza cast. Something, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
Whatever.
overall final thoughts on the game. Game's great. Very.
Yeah.
I think this is a very good way to start the Switch era. Mario Kart was fun, but it's like this is the real man's game.
Yeah. If I could be hyperbolic, I think it's one of the best Nintendo games I've ever played. And it's probably my favorite of the 3D platformers that they've done, like even over Mario Odyssey, which was my previous favorite. Um, and I'm very interested to see what a 3D Mario game is going to be like in the future. I don't know if I buy it that we're getting one anytime soon, just because this was done by the main Mario team. People like to cope very hard about that and be like, oh, well, it's like a new team that was made from the Odyssey team, so maybe there's still another team that's
Fellas,
doing.
calm down.
Yeah, and I was just like, it's fine. If it honestly, I'm good. If there's
We
not going to be
got
a Mario
Mario
game for
Wonder a couple of
another,
years ago.
yeah,
We can survive.
when we'll get a Switch 2 edition of that sometime soon, probably. So like, I'm fine waiting until like 2030 or something like that for
Yeah.
a new 3D Mario if we have to. Like, I'm told it's not. I'm not like that much of a fan of Mario specifically, more so the experiences that Mario can bring because it's the marquee franchise of Nintendo. And this has all of the polish and the charm and that attention to detail that you would expect from a Mario game brought to the next generation. It's like the first real next gen feeling platformer that I've played since Astrobot last year. So it's just like banger. If you are on the fence about getting it or getting a Switch 2, I say like, hey, if you have the money and you have the money, make sure you have the money.
Yeah,
If you
pay your
make
bills,
sure,
fellas.
right, I was
Pay
gonna
your
say pay the
bills.
bills, don't be in debt, and then get like I totally recommend a Switch 2, and I recommend DK Bonanza like fervently for that. So
Yeah,
especially if
it's
you're
a
a
good
player
start
like
to a system
me,
seller. It's a good
yeah,
this is a good like system seller to like start the
yeah,
Switch 2 with.
it's a very good 1-2 punch because even the Switch, like by this point, the only games that were out on it were Breath of the Wild, which was on the Wii U as well,
Yeah.
and
Mario Kart 8?
Mario Kart 8. So it's just like this 1-2 punch. I feel like the Switch 2 is off to like a much stronger start. Like they led with Mario Kart this time, but it's a completely new Mario Kart that you can only get on the console. And
Big and
yes,
it's like got a
yeah,
lot of stuff to do.
yeah, and then DK Bonanza a month later, bam, and then hoping and praying that we get Metroid Prime 4 in September, so it won't be that much longer from now. If not, November's fine. Whatever, just give it to me this year. That's all I ask. But either way, like a really good, and that is between Switch 1 and 2, so it's not like a purely Switch 2 game. So that's why I emphasize like Mario Kart, DK Bonanza, 1-2 punch, original games on the console. And then while you're waiting between like bigger releases, you have all these old games that you have an excuse to replay. You can
Yeah, with like all the
finally,
updates and even just like
yeah,
it's a game console. Play some games.
yeah.
It doesn't always have to be new games.
Whew, but I think that's it. I
Oh
think that's
God, we
all.
talked a lot. Oh my God. Oh.
Yeah, I think that's a lot. I think that's
Yeah,
all
I
we have
am
to say.
very excited for the Switch 2's future. We'll see, but maybe if there's a direct this week, we'll see. But it's like,
We'll
yeah,
see.
this is a good
Luigi's
like
Mansion
this and Mario
4.
Kart are a good 1-2 punch
Mm.
of a first impression. And I
What
think
would you
Donkey Kong was an
want?
even stronger punch.
What's like a dream game that you want within the next few years from Nintendo
Uh,
specifically?
that's a. I'll get back to you on that because that's a
All right.
lot to
Okay.
think
Yeah.
about. I
That's a
kind of
lot.
just take things as they are. It's like, oh, like
I agree. Yeah.
yeah. I guess just like a Pokemon Gen 10, but or like a port of the older Pokemon game. I was so disappointed when that new Pokemon Presents just didn't have any older ports.
Those
Just
Pokemon Presents always suck ass. So that's
yeah, fair,
I just have to
fair.
get used to them giving you
No
like one cool
ports.
announcement. Yeah, basically Champions getting a release window was about the most
Yeah,
exciting thing that they showed there, and
I mean,
like
like even
Mega
in
Dragonite.
Concierge, like having a date, like season 2. I like
That's
Concierge,
true.
so
Yeah, Concierge
um,
really. I like
and
first season of that.
Pokemon Presents is weird. But welcome to. Sorry for this general rambling Nintendo cast. I guess we should just wrap it up. Wyatt, plug your stuff. Where can people
I mean,
find
I
you
think that
if
we
they like
stayed on
hearing you talk
topic
about?
for the most part. I think that we
Yeah, it's
did.
a Nintendo. Yeah,
I think that we stayed on the topic of Donkey Kong for the most part. I think that we,
yeah. It's just
you
like the
know,
end. It's like, oh, what's looking forward to the future? Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I don't see any problem with that. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, find me on Twitter and Bluesky, Wasp Ranger, WAZP Ranger. It's mostly stream of consciousness stuff, but I do like to talk about videos I'm making or podcasts I'm doing. Um, if you want to check out my main squeeze, which is Cartoon Buffoons, that's on my channel. It's Only Magic. Also check out my videos that are also on that channel. I made one on Primos earlier this year. I made one on Stugo. Those got a lot of views, so check those out.
Still go.
Yep, Stugo's coming to Disney Plus in a couple days here, so if you have that, check that show out. It's really, really, really funny. So it's a good time. And if you want to donate to my Patreon, it's only magic. $3, you get the podcast a week early. And if you only got $1, that's fine. You still get the bonus podcast, Wow Cool Robot, which is me and my friend Wayne going through every single robot in existence. So check that out. How about you? Where can we find you?
Hi, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching it on the Buster Corp channel, because I've decided I'm gonna put this on the main channel because I can't do a Donkey Kong Bananza review. So if you enjoy this, go subscribe. If you're somehow new, go subscribe and go watch my other analysis videos that are way more scripted than this. I also have a couple podcasts on this channel, like that I've done with Wyatt, like our short-lived OKKO rewatch podcast, or
we did the whole first season.
Yeah. And then I'm also talking about the Shin trilogy of movies from Hideaki Anno and Shinji Iguchi. So you can, if you want more podcasting goodness from us. But also, if you just want to see us week to week, we do a show on Modular Media, my collab podcast channel, called Toku Talkers, where we talk about the newest Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, and Ultraman episodes every week as they air. So, yeah. Oh, I hope you enjoyed our Donkey Kong and Friends cast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I will see you whenever we see you. Go follow us. Be a parasocial freak.
Yeah, absolutely.